Greetings, the Astro 30 here yet again, and welcome back to AEL. Now, if you're new to this channel, please consider going down below and subscribing if you haven't done so already. Cheers, guys. Now, today I want to do a quick video talking about something that I've touched on in the past but haven't really gone into a vast explanation of, and that is the quasi-complementary output stage of an amplifier and why it's primarily used. Now, sitting off to the right here is my 5-watt quasi-complementary amplifier that was previously done in another video, and I'm using this as a prop because it's kind of relevant to what I'm talking about. So first of all, what is quasi-complementary? Well, let's look at the word quasi, or quasi depending on how you want to pronounce it. Quasi means like or similar to, but not exactly the same. So it means basically similar to being complementary. So first we really need to look at the differences between the quasi-complementary output stage versus the more customary complementary output stage. So in a complementary output stage, we have our driver transistors, that's an NPN. We have a positive rail. We go into our power transistor, which is also the same polarity as the driver. We go through some degeneration. That's the output. And then we go into our PNP output transistor. That's the negative rail or common, depending on whether it's a single supply or a dual supply. That then goes into, let's try that again. We go into our PNP driver, and that's our complementary pair output stage. Now, they're basically Darlington configurations. So that's a Darlington. That's also a Darlington. And this is known as class AB. So with this, we can also have it as a class B output stage. So if I just change the way the emitters are drawn, we would have an NPN here and a PNP here. So what we now have is known as a C-clay-E compound pair output stage, but the symmetry is still complementary. Now, what is the difference now between the complementary output stage and the quasi-complementary output stage? So with the quasi-complementary, we still have our NPN driver. We still have our PNP driver going between a positive rail and a negative rail, or common, depending on whether it's, again, a single supply or bipolar. But it's the way that we drive the output transistors and the type of output transistor. So in this case, we have two transistors with some degeneration between the two. That forms our output. And in this case, both output devices are NPN. So looking at this, why was it used? Now, this type of output symmetry was used a lot during the 70s, and there's a very good reason for that. The main reason is because PNP power transistors were, one, a lot more harder to manufacture than the NPN counterpart. They weren't as reliable as the NPN counterpart, and they were also exceedingly more expensive than the NPN counterpart. Depending on the output transistors chosen, you could easily say that the PNP counterpart to an NPN transistor could be at least twice the price. So if your NPN was, say, $6, the PNP could easily be $12, mainly because of how difficult it was back then to manufacture reliable PNP transistors. It's not so much of a problem these days, and there are still some versions of complementary transistors, NPN, PNP, where the PNP is slightly more expensive than the NPN, you may notice, like by a couple of dollars. But there are other transistors like the TIP 35C and 36C that are around the same price for either polarity. But that was the main reason why engineers came up with the quasi-complementary output stage, was to make it cheaper to manufacture and also more reliable. And a lot of chip amplifiers like the LM3886, the LM386, and I believe the LM1875 also used quasi-complementary output stages. And the reason that they do that in the integrated circuit version is because it's a lot easier to manufacture an NPN die that can handle a bit of current inside a silicon body like an integrated circuit than it is to do the PNP counterpart. It's mainly for a cost saving measure. Is there any real benefit between the three different types of output stage? Are you going to get any more power using one or the other? Assuming what's driving this output stage before it, like the voltage amplification stage and the input stage configuration and all that sort of stuff, is the same between testing all three output stage symmetries, the differences in output power are probably going to be negligible. So that is the main reason why quasi-complementary was used, what it means, and that's basically it. There's nothing more to discuss on that type of output symmetry. And in fact, the quasi-complementary is still used today, as I said, in a lot of integrated circuit output amplifiers. It's just cheaper to manufacture, that's the main reason. Anyway, I hope this has been informative to someone, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give it a big like below, and you can always subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, this is the Astro 30 saying see ya, have a great day.